Hello, welcome back to Hidden Gems. My name is Arden Thomas. I'm the Cincom Smalltalk Product Manager. Hidden Gems is where we show you capabilities of the product that you may not know about, but we think you will benefit from. If you have any questions, suggestions, please send them to myself, Arden Thomas. This is my email address, athomas@cincom.com. So this screencast is going to be about tagging part one. And tagging is the notion of the action of attaching a label to something. That's the generic definition of tagging. And we're going to show you some ideas about tagging things in Smalltalk. So part one will show you a technique for tagging methods of code you're writing. So why would you want to tag a method that you're writing? Well, a good reason is you want to remember to come back and revisit that method for some reason, and there can be a variety of reasons. For example, you might want to come back to that method and clean it up. You might want to come back to that method and simplify it. You might realize that you just wrote it to get it working, but you can greatly improve the performance of that method, and you want to remember to come back and revisit and examine the performance, maybe use the performance profiling tools. So what might be a good way to tag and then later find these methods? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. So how can we do this? Well, let's say we want to mark some methods with revisit to improve performance. What we can do is go to class object. I've created a tagging group here, and I create the method revisit to improve performance, revisit to simplify, revisit to clean up. Okay, and the thing to do, though, also is do that on both sides, the instance side and the class side of object. That way, you'll have them available wherever you like. Then, say you're writing some code. This is some code from some past hidden gems, display points in a graph. And let's say I want to revisit this method to improve performance. So I can simply put in self-revisit to improve performance. And since it's an object, we'll basically virtually always have this available, at least for the majority of our code. We will have these methods available, and I can simply say self-revisit to improve performance. You might be like, well, is there any cost? Since this is essentially a no-op, I believe the compiler actually will not. It will be zero impact to runtime performance. So I can say revisit to improve performance. I might also have another self-revisit to simplify in this method. So this is a way I can tag or mark these methods to do exactly this. So how do you find these tagged methods? Well, there's two ways. I can go to the launcher and browse senders. So I can say browse senders of revisit to improve performance. Let's take a look. Okay, it brings up my display points. Okay, and if I had many, they'd all be right here, so I can find them very quickly and easily. But here's another little trick I can demonstrate. Here is some code. Method collector new. Method collector references to this as a symbol. That's the name of my method. And browse select. So let's see what happens. I execute this and I go right to all my. Let's see if we have more than one. Okay, let's go back to self-revisit to improve performance and say we want to do both things on this. We want to simplify it and improve performance. And now I look at my And I can see basically all methods that I have tagged with revisit to improve performance by using this. So a very simple, easy to use technique that you can tag as you're writing things while you remember it in real time. You can simply add these method calls to your method, and you're tagging them, so you'll, because if you say, oh, I'll have to remember this mentally to come back to this, and you've got a half a dozen, of course you won't remember all those. So this is a simple technique, very useful, very pragmatic, to find those, to tag and find those tags of things that you want to remember to come back to. So let's recap. Tagging part 1, we're looking at tagging methods of code that we're writing. We can tag the method, and you can come up with any number of reasons. Here's just a couple, 3 examples. You want to come back, clean it up, simplify, improve performance, and we showed you how to tag these, how to create these methods, where to create them, and how to tag them, and how to find all the things you've tagged. Any questions, comments, suggestions, please send them to myself, Arden Thomas, athomas@cincom.com. Until next time, have a great time with Cincom Smalltalk. Thank you.